All right, now we're actually going to set the values on our ramps for our different particles to create our color and alpha values. So I'm going to move my viewport over. Let's look at the ground particles first. So I'm going to select this, create CD and alpha, hit the P key to pull up our parameters, and we'll start laying down some points that I've predetermined that I know are going to work for this. So for the color ramp at position 0, we'll start at white. And then we'll lay down another point, put that at 0.03, and that will be 0.9.90. Lay down another point, make this 0.15. This will be 0.9.450. Lay down another point, manually set that to 0.5, and then this is going to be 0.900. And then our last position, position 1, will be black. So it's basically kind of like that black body style, hot to cooler red down to black. Okay, and so the alpha ramp now, we'll start at position 0 because we want it to be completely transparent at the beginning. And then very soon after, let me lay down a point. I'm going to change it to 0.025 and have that be 1. So it jumps up to 1 quite quickly. Let me open up this ramp so we can see it a little bit better. Make another point. This will be 0.5, have that value 1. And then the last point here is going to be a value of 0. And like we've done before, I'm going to select these points and make them CatMilROM so we get a more nice transition between them. And now in the viewport, you can see that we start, instead of having our little, black and white particles, which are also a little harder to see, now we can have particles that are starting to come to life with some more color. Yay! And they're changing over time, and there's a little bit of randomness added into them. And so now this starts to look, much more exciting, and this is where it really comes together. And this is also why I really like to do my coloring in SOPs at this point, because, if we had baked all of that into the simulation, we need to rerun the simulation to change particle coloring, and that seems like an inefficient thing to do in my world. So it's nice just to basically have an attribute ramp that we define with color that we're then remapping to the color we actually want. Okay, so now let's go over to our other particles here and let's make some other ramps. Okay, so now at point position 0, we're going to have this be white again. We'll start with that. And then we'll make another point, change that to 0.06, and these values will be 0.85, 0.38, 0.97. This is going to be kind of a cooler set of particles to have a balance with the hot particles. The next position is going to be 0.27. The values will be 0, 0.12, and 0.9. The next position we will manually set to 0.55, and that will be 0, 0, 0.9. And then our last point on the line here is going to be black. Okay, so we have a hot set of particles and then this cooler purpley blue set of particles. Now let's set our alpha. At position 1, the value is 0. We'll set another point here. We'll manually set its position to 0.05 and its value to 1. Set another key there, and then that's going to be position 0.5, value of 1, and then the final position 1 will be a value of 0. So they fade in quickly and then fade out eventually. Change the point interpolation to CatMilROM. Let me close up those. All right, so now we have built a custom color and alpha system, and then we've set our values on those. So now let me play back and look at our object particle emission. Right on. So now we've got our purpley blue particles emitting from our object, separating as if they're sparks shooting off from these metallic plates, just breaking off from each other. Okay, so now let's merge these together with a merge node. Now, if I scrub, we can also see now that we can see our two different particle sources, and now it's really easy to see them because they're colored differently. And actually, let me tumble around to a different area here so we can zoom in even closer. And this is really cool. So we can really see the results of different kinds of particle sources. And you could use something like this for debugging just to figure out like which sources are really doing what, but it's also great for stylization if you want, obviously different visual results from different particle sources. Cool. Right on. Okay, so now we have colored our particles, and next up we're just going to sort of get everything finally prepped and deal with any last sort of housekeeping stuff we want to do in SOP land before we start moving this forward to rendering.